You've seen the headlines, right? That huge promise of turning a small monthly investment into a massive 70 lakh rupees for your daughter's future? It sounds incredible, almost too good to be true. Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on that exact promise.
But is it for real? I mean, can you actually take what amounts to about 50 rupees a day, maybe the cost of a coffee, and turn it into a life-changing amount of money for her education or wedding? The answer, believe it or not, is tied to a very, very popular government scheme.
70 lakh rupees. That's the number that gets everyone's attention. And yeah, on paper, it is possible through the government-backed savings scheme called the Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana, or SSY. But, that big number, it doesn't tell the whole story. And the details? Well, that's where things get interesting.
So first things first, let's get to the heart of it. What exactly is this scheme that's making such a bold promise? Let's break down the Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana and see who it's really for. At its core, the SSY is a government savings plan with a really simple and powerful goal: to help parents build a secure financial future for their daughters, specifically for those big life events like higher education and marriage.
Now, the rules for who can join are pretty specific. An account can only be opened for a girl before she turns 10. And generally, a family can open accounts for a maximum of 2 daughters. But check this out. Here's a fascinating exception. If your second birth happens to be twin girls, the government actually lets you open a third account, making sure all 3 of your daughters are covered. Pretty thoughtful, right?
Okay, so we know what it is and who can get in. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty. How does this scheme actually turn your savings into that big pile of cash? Let's look at the timeline and what you're signing up for.
The whole thing runs for 21 years from the day you open the account. But here's the key part. You only have to make deposits for the first 15 years. For the next 6 years, you don't have to put in a single rupee more. Your money just sits there and keeps growing, earning that sweet compound interest. Then, after the full 21 years, the entire amount is ready.
And this is where the scheme is just fantastic. It's so accessible, you can start with as little as 250 rupees a year, which makes it an option for pretty much any family. On the other end, if you invest the maximum of 1.5 lakhs every year, well, that's your ticket to hitting that 70 lakh rupee target.
All right, now let's talk about what might just be the scheme's biggest superpower, its EEE tax status. Think of it this way. The money you put in is tax deductible. The interest your money earns is completely tax-free. And the final huge amount you take out, also completely tax-free. That is a huge deal. It's one of the most tax-friendly ways to save in India, period.
So far, it sounds perfect, doesn't it? A safe, tax-free investment with a great return. But you knew there was a but coming, right? As with any financial product, there are some, let's call them catches, that you absolutely need to know about.
It seems like a slam dunk, but there are a couple of really crucial details that often get lost in those exciting headlines. So let's dig into the 2 potential drawbacks you've got to consider.
This timeline right here, this shows you the first major catch. That 8.2% interest rate we're all excited about, it isn't locked in for 21 years. The government reviews it all the time, and as you can clearly see, the trend over the last decade has been, well, downwards.
And here's why that really matters to you. While your original investment is safe, the return on that investment is not guaranteed. If the rate drops to, say, 7% or even 6% down the road, that final 70 lakh figure could end up being much, much lower. And over 21 years, even a small drop in the rate can cost you lakhs.
And then there's the second catch. This one isn't about the rate of return, it's about control. As soon as your daughter turns 18, she becomes the legal owner of the account. That means for any withdrawal, even for her own college fees, her signature is required. The legal control of all that money you saved, it transfers from you to her.
Okay, so with these catches in mind, it really makes you wonder, is there another way to do this? So let's put the super safe SSY head-to-head with a more growth-focused option, like a mutual fund.
The main alternative is investing through a systematic investment plan, or SIP, in a mutual fund. Now, this is a totally different approach. While SSY is all about safety and guarantees, a mutual fund SIP is all about aiming for higher growth, which also means you have to be okay with some market risk.
This table really lays out the trade-offs perfectly. With SSY, you're getting government-backed safety and those incredible tax benefits. But your money's locked in for a long time, and you lose control when she turns 18.
With the mutual fund SIP, you get total flexibility and you keep control, but you're taking on market risk, and yes, your gains will be taxed. And here it is. This is where you see the real power of compounding over a long time. Sticking with the SSCI at today's rate gets you that 70 lakhs, but if a mutual fund SIP averages a 12% return, which is a pretty reasonable long-term expectation, that same investment could grow to 1.4 crore rupees. That is literally double the amount. The difference is just staggering.
But I know what you're thinking. That's the first thing everyone says, and it's absolutely true. The SSI amount is completely tax-free, but the gains you make on a mutual fund will have a capital gains tax. So, is it still a better deal after taxes?
And that's the real kicker. Even after you pay the capital gains tax, the projected amount from the mutual fund is still nearly 1.3 crore. That is a massive difference compared to the tax-free 70 lakhs from the SSY. So, we've seen this safe government option, and we've seen the high-growth market option. This brings us to the most important question of all. Which one is right for you? So let's just boil it all down. Think of the Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana as your fortress. It's unbeatable for safety and tax benefits. Perfect if you just can't stomach risk. But you're giving up some control, and you're accepting a variable interest rate. On the other hand, a mutual fund SIP is like your rocket ship. It offers the potential for much, much higher returns and gives you more flexibility. But you have to be ready for a bumpy ride with market risk.
You know, there is no single right answer here for everyone. It's not really about which option is better in a vacuum. It's about which one aligns with your financial goals, your comfort with risk, and what you feel is the right philosophy for securing your daughter's future.
And that's really the question this all comes down to for you and your family. Which one matters more? Are you looking for the absolute peace of mind that comes with a government guarantee, even if it means lower returns? Or are you willing to embrace a little bit of market volatility for the potential to build a much, much larger fund for her future? The choice is yours.